Hello and welcome to Maidencast episode 26. It's me, Joe, the Nightmare Cabin, and I'm joined as ever. No, that's not a new co-host. Look at this handsome young man. Look, he has a chin, but yes, as ever,
Yes.
my brother from another mother, Mr. Luke Nash. How are you, Luke?
So I'm all right, mate. I've got a fucking cold face in the morning now when I go to work.
Yeah. You were doing a bit of hedge trimming, and you next thing you know.
No, it was
Where's my
conscious.
beard gone?
I got pissed off wiping milk and soup out of it, so it had to go.
Isn't it quite handy though? If you anyone follows you on Facebook, you are a bit of a movie buff. In the middle of the night, if you're getting a bit peckish and you just sort of put your hand in there, you find a bit of popcorn left over.
Thing is, you joke. I've done that. I've had dinner and I've gone out and it's fucking been shit in there. So it ain't a good look, mate. I tell you. So ain't a good look.
So is this a new thing? Is this a permanent thing or is it just a complete no? And then we're going to start again.
It'll fluctuate to whatever whenever I can be asked to fucking do it. So I don't think I've got another 5 years in me because that was a fucking test of endurance, that last one. But we shall see.
It is quite. Who was the comedian? He was in Peep Show. You know, the awkward one. I forget his name, but yeah, he'd come out of an interview once, and he had like a full beard on, and they mentioned, he went, "It's quite funny actually because you don't do anything, but you get a sense of achievement."
Yes, yeah, you've done something with your life.
Yeah. So, moving on, we had the Blaze question last week. We addressed that. So, obviously, the inevitable happened. Bruce comes back into the band, and Adrian Smith joins the ranks as well, and they have a free guitar lineup. Steve tells Yannick not to worry. If this doesn't work, Adrian will go, not you.
Yeah. He said, you've been here longer than him. Fuck him. If he don't want to do it, it's...
I think, yeah, but and then, well, apparently the idea originally came from when when Adrian did the guest appearance at Donington. Apparently he went, that was really good. And they thought, oh, well done. So, excuse me. They did what they should have done with Blaze. Went out on a tour.
Yeah.
And, you know, learned to gel. I think that was one thing in the middle of the night, I kind of had a lightning bolt thing. I thought,
yeah,
why
didn't think about that. Obviously, it was, and it was a mad old set list, and all, wasn't it? Fans voted for it, I think.
Oh, right. Well, they had the Eddie, what was that game they did? Mind you, I think it was an updated version of Ed Hunter.
Yeah.
With a best of, and that was voted. I think you'd find it wasn't a set list as such.
Yeah, they played like Stranger in a Strange Land and stuff like that. It's like,
yeah, but they did massively. All of a sudden, the possibilities on the set list was opened right up again. I mean, that opening tour, Bruce is back, and then they open with Aces High. It was just like, yeah.
That's it.
I think it was close to a 3-hour set they were doing at some point, weren't they? As well,
crazy, wasn't it?
They never did a London show though. They waited until the album came out for doing Earl's Cult.
Yeah,
closest they got was Paris, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was at Earl's Cult. Fucking Slayer and Entombed. That's a bill.
Yeah.
And that's a band. It's laughable, really. All Kerrang and Metal Hammer saying, oh, they're washed up, they're running scared, all this shit. So they think, right, who are we going to take out? Two of the most extreme fucking bands who ever do it.
Yeah.
And we're going to go on after them, you know? And that was crazy. And that was a mad old show.
Yeah, I remember seeing interviews with Entombed at the time as well. Like they literally couldn't believe their luck.
Yeah.
It was they're like, yeah, we can retire now. We're
happy. Yeah, because you're playing to fucking 20,000 people a day.
Yeah, opening for Maiden. And yeah, rest in peace to Lars Petrov as well.
Yeah, fucking great loss to the community. So yeah, rest in power, brother.
And I think the thing is with Entombed as well, they kind of went what's known as death and roll later on.
Yeah,
you were either along for that ride or you weren't, really. But I think we can all agree Left Hand Path is one of the best death metal albums ever. One thing with it as well, it's the atmosphere on that album. There's just something dirty about it. It's just really good. It's got a real good horror theme to it. But yeah, so we're going to that tour. That's one thing I did want to quickly interject. I was listening to an interview once with Michael Anthony from Van Halen, and that they addressed their dodgy
their
era with
yeah, fucking hell, yeah.
But he did say the band were going through a tough time at that point. He went Van Halen 3. It was the only album that they didn't write in a room, and they didn't record it together either. They recorded it in shifts.
All right.
And David Van Halen was going through a divorce at the time, and they reckon he just weren't there. He would. Yeah.
David?
Okay.
Alex, do you mean?
Alex, sorry.
The drummer?
Who's David Van Halen?
Oh, fuck, you're making it up, mate.
Sorry, I'm not long woken up. But Alex Van Halen is, he just weren't in the fucking zone.
Yeah.
He said whoever came in to sing on that album,
yeah.
No one could have saved it. It was, people weren't inspired. They weren't. It was incoherent. It was directionless. And he said he got poison chalice. Really, he said, but Sammy would never do David Lee Roth stuff. They tried reforming with David. He won't do Sammy stuff. Yeah, apparently Sammy would do Ain't Talking About Love and Jump, and it would be right at the end, and that was it. It would be the absolute minimum. All of a sudden, he says, in the live show, we were opening with Unchained. He said we were doing stuff that was like hadn't been played in decades.
Yeah.
And he did both eras. He didn't care. He was like,
Gary,
I'll do a David Lee Roth song.
He was a good vocalist. He just it was the wrong time and the wrong band for him.
And he said he went, if anyone can get hold of a bootleg of that time, he went, that tour was really good. The live shows were really good. And he says, and in hindsight, we should have did a tour and then did an album.
Yeah.
He says, because then we would have got a feel for each other
and the good thing,
the old stuff again, and
I mean, the good thing with this was Bruce was doing Blaze stuff when he's off the bat. Future Real Man on the Edge, boom, straight away on that warm up tour, and then obviously Sign of the Cross and the Klansman on the subsequent album tour. So we weren't,
which was mentioned as well in the Bible, Run to the Hills by
Mick Wall,
and Steve said that he kind of annoyed him a bit when Black Sabbath reformed. He went because it was as if it was basically 10 albums was written off.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I weren't going to do that. So
no, especially because he thinks the X Factor is one of the strongest albums he's ever written.
And Bruce has always been happy to do it as well. I've heard some interview where they've gone like, oh, you do other Blaze stuff, and Bruce just went, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, actually, even fairly recently when he did that, he did a little couple of minute unboxing of the new live album in his house by his fucking made pinball machine.
When he's dressed like a fucking wizard. He's gone weird.
Proper,
ever since he survived cancer, he has blatantly gone from it.
He has, But he was talking about, obviously, because they dropped Sign of the Cross as an official live taster for the album. And he's talking about how phenomenal Nico McBrain's drumming is on that song. So he wants to play that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's credit to him, because he could have quite easily fucking gone the other way and gone, no.
It annoys me when that happens. I mean, Anthrax is a prime case. I know they do the odd song here and there, but
no, they did Only, and that was it. And that's on the Big 4 DVD Blu-ray. And Joey can't really sing it; it's too low register for him. So that's why. But to be fair, that's why he's done it. He can't physically do it.
That's a good little. There's a little twist for you. I can't sing that stuff because it's too low a register.
That's it.
But Exodus as well. I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen as well. Steve Zetro has a YouTube channel come podcast, and he had Rob Dukes on it. It's like a 3-hour episode, and they go right in. They're mates. That's the best bit about it.
Yeah.
And he says he goes through the albums one by one. He was like, this album's amazing. Like, and this song's some of the best stuff Exodus ever did. And he went, I'm happy to sing these songs. He went, there's a couple. He goes like, there's even a couple I can't do. He went, it's great. He went, because I listen to these albums like a fan. He went, like, this is Exodus from the inside, from the outside looking in, sort of thing.
I mean, because if you're in the band, you know what the musicians. If you leave the band, you know what the musicians are capable of. So you know pretty much you're gonna dig whatever they do. So I mean,
Yeah, but I recommend anyone who is an Exodus fan, even if you're not an Exodus fan, really, it's just two guys having a good conversation about being in bands, and Rob's had a pretty cool life story actually. And it was because it was a bit of bad blood for a bit of time. He addresses that as well, and he says like regrettably, he shouldn't have said certain things in the press. Shouldn't have aired dirty laundry, you know.
Yeah.
But water under the bridge, everything's fine, sort of thing. But yeah. So then it leads us to, and I think one of the compromises they sort of make. I think Bruce went, we need a producer.
Yeah. We need a geezer who knows what he's doing, and enter the caveman.
Yeah. So
and
they put together.
He's got an eclectic CV, ain't he? He ain't just stuck with hard rock or whatever.
I'm not actually that big a fan of Kevin Shirley, I've got to admit.
Yeah, me and you well differ on this one.
Yeah, but I do acknowledge, right, Rush and Iron Maiden are your two biggest clients. Like, that's your seat. Like,
did Dream Theater as well, didn't he?
Yeah, so I'm like, well, it's obviously something I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
Maiden, Rush, Dream Theater as well.
And it's no coincidence that they're bringing Kevin Shirley on. All of a sudden, songs got longer. Probably. Yeah. It's,
I think also he did give them a bit of editing as well, because the long songs are long songs that aren't. There's still no fat on them.
Yeah, they don't repeat. It's not like Metallica, is it? Where you do a 9-minute song and you think, oh fucking hell, it could have been done in 3.
So I do think this might have had even the longer songs still probably had a bit of trimming. Like Angel and the Gambler would never have happened under Kevin Shirley's watch.
That'd have been a 3.5-minute hit single, wouldn't it? And it would have been one of the best songs on the album. As we said before, it's a fucking catchy song. Just forget it.
Yeah. So here's my battered old copy.
I had that on mini disc, mate.
Yeah, we'll get into that. And this is the new shiny remaster. I don't think there's much difference.
There is a couple of bits, because I've got the original album in my car on my USB drive.
Yeah.
But I listened to the remaster last night on Spotify.
Oh, I'm talking visually.
No, not visually. They've tweaked some of the music a bit, especially on the Nomad. The keyboards have dropped way down.
Oh,
still there, but they're
Because in that X Factor, they turned up.
Yeah.
Which I thought was needed. Right, so Brave New World, the reset button. Yeah. Metal was given a big thing, for a big overhaul. Right, the daddies are back, and you're all following suit, and you're all going to start fucking doing solos.
Solos, yeah.
And
that's it, yeah.
When snotty-nosed little fucking punks like Sum 41 are doing solos and metal isn't, you need to have a word with yourselves. Yeah. But has it aged well? 21 years it's been.
That's crazy.
How does it stand up today? Well, let's find out.
Yep.
So, anything you want to speak about before going into the songs?
No, just this is the first album they ever recorded live in the studio, which is fucking mad when you think that they're a live band. You think they would be doing that all the time. I mean, overdubs and all that shit aside.
Yeah.
You'd have thought they'd have been in there jamming the fucking songs, but this is fucking 12th album, and it's the first time they've ever played live in the studio. Have it just recorded?
Well,
fucking hell.
I think it's more of a budget thing, it's a space thing, it's a logistics thing. Maybe it's just not always been that practical. I think the Stones record like that. They basically just go, right, everyone's being recorded, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then bang, they just play it and then listen back. And then if it is you fucked up there, all right, we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
And
I'd imagine it weren't the case of that. I imagine they were all on separate tracks. So if Steve fucked up or Yannick fucked up, they only had to re-record Yannick. If everyone else,
that's what I mean.
But no, I just think it's crazy.
Over the levels and whatnot.
It's
I think as well. I don't think. Well, it depends how you look at it, really. I think it depends on the songs and how finished the songs are. I think I think you could record your first album like that if you're,
because you've been playing the songs for 5 years on
it basically just be like a live session. But your second and third, it might not quite. There's songs there that haven't been played live. Some that never will be played live. Working the songs out. Yeah, maybe that wouldn't have. So if this was done live as such, the songs must have been well rehearsed at this point. But then they spend like a year in there, so.
Yeah, something fucking crazy. I'm just looking on Wikipedia, not the most reliable place I know.
Well,
summer 99 to April 2000 they recorded it, so that's a time, mate.
Yeah, so they must have.
That's 8 months. So,
They must have wrote as they recorded as they wrote, sort of thing. I don't know.
well, as we know, some of the songs were ready to rock, and some were done, some were part done.
Yeah, I've got.
As we discussed on the Blaze question, the old conspiracy theory in me came out of it. If they were done, what did Steve sort of hold them back because he knew full well that Blaze couldn't do them justice? Or did he just hold them back because they just weren't polished enough?
Yeah, I suppose we'll never know, will we? I was just reading a bit here. There's nothing really. I can't quite get this. Brave New World is an album of numerous successful compromises. Sorry. First, Steve capitulates and welcomes Bruce back to the fold, who insists on bringing Adrian. That's not quite true. He didn't insist. No. So, hard decisions are avoided by not messing with the Murray Gers team. Yes, did this. The band's population explosion stressed people out, and they made a record called Union that was panned. Do you know anything about that?
No, but it's talking about Yes. I mean, who fucking listens to Yes? I mean,
oh, Yes, did this. All right, I'll get what you mean. I was thinking, what does he mean? This.
So Yes, I imagine Yes got together, reunited, did an album, and it was so stressful that it was shit. There's a lot of pressure on it. And actually, saying that, when I used to be in the band Mistaken Identity, we used to fucking play. We used to play a place in Stamford all the time called Rainbow's End, and we were setting up for a gig once. And one of the guys in the other bands, we were both Maiden fans, and we was actually chatting at the bar, saying, "Now they're back together. If the new album bombs, Maiden are fucking finished." Yeah. So there is probably more pressure on them with Bruce coming back than there ever was with Blaze in the band.
Yeah.
Because with Blaze, it didn't go the way it wanted to. Commercially, it went down the pan. Some would argue songwriting wasn't as strong. I think they're wrong, but whatever. But now they're like, right, we've outed him. We've gone back to the original guy, or not the original guy, obviously, because of Diano, but the guy who made us.
So that first tour would have been been a no-brainer. But actually, have we got an album to back it up?
Have we got material? You know, are we going to gel? Is there too much resentment? So the pressure internally, they didn't show it, must have been fucking huge.
Well, I don't think the pressure was there. I think the chemistry was there. I think it was.
Yeah, and that's
everyone came back reinvigorated. You know.
I suppose it's helped that Rod Smallwood's involved because he managed Bruce and obviously still managed Maiden.
Yeah.
So I know they had a bit of a fucking handbag.
Apparently, him and Yannick used to bump into each other down the pub the whole time as well. And Yannick apparently, they never talked Maiden. That was
Yannick and Bruce were mates for fucking ever, weren't they?
Yeah.
But I know they had handbags and all that in the press, and Bruce was fucking giving it large. But I think anything Larry, Rod Smallwood would have shot it down.
Yeah.
He's like, no, this is my fucking gravy train. You're fucking messing up here.
Yeah.
You know. So I think that. Rod Smallwood is an underestimated fucking hell.
He would have pulled him aside when he gone, now don't go fucking talking any bollocks to the fucking press because I'll fucking have you in here and I'll fucking nail you to the wall.
He's an underestimated part of the Maiden story, and without him, it's fucking totally different.
Yeah,
and because of that chemistry you've talked about, it brings us nicely into track 1.
Yeah,
because it's written by the Holy Trinity, the Smith Harris Dickinson combination. And let's face it, as much as I love X Factor and I got soft spot for Virtual 11, there was nothing as hooky as this song on either album.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's what they missed with Adrian, the hooks.
Songwriting bits here, yeah.
Adrian's got hooks coming. I mean, it's ironic that he's a fisherman as well because he brings those hooks into the music because he just writes a hooky fucking riff or a chorus or whatever, and he just pulls them out of his arse. And that's what they've missed. And it's no better way to start the album than this.
Yeah, I mean, there's that unmistakable Adrian lead as well. You obviously noticed that with Accident of Birth and Chemical Wedding. It's like, all this sounds like Maiden. Well, it sounds like Adrian.
Yes, exactly.
And, I did a Cannibal Corpse review yesterday, and there's it's not controversy at all, but it is big news that Eric Rutan has joined them, and he's contributed 3 songs. And I said, I didn't know because I managed to get a download a week or 2 ahead, but I was listening blind, so I didn't have any writing credit. But
not illegally, you should point out.
Legally, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, not illegally. So
Yeah, no. And but there was a few solos. I did go. That's Eric.
yeah,
I can
you can
hear
tell,
that.
can't you?
Yeah.
They've got that style.
And yeah, and funnily enough, I think he's interjected a bit of melody into Cannibal Corpse, as impossible as that sounds, without
Yeah,
without
without
taking
going
away
full
any heaviest. Eh?
without going full carcass, where they went heart work to.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they didn't go. They haven't gone carcass, but they
Not
I
that,
said,
not that there's anything wrong with them carcass albums.
no,
It's fucking two of their best. But
it hasn't taken away from the intensity or the heaviness. If anything, it's added a sinister edge to it. It kind of makes it more atmospheric.
yeah.
But yeah, so that unmistakable Adrian is what I'm saying. But yeah, right. So the Wicker Man, I think. I mean, one thing as well. You said the X Factor. We always talked about your album, how the album that you join on is always you always have a special resonance with. Brave New World was my album. This is where I jumped on. As a kid, I remember seeing like Iron Maiden T-shirts and Iron Maiden CDs. I always had an infatuation with Megadeth's Countdown to Extinction because it looked like a horror film. Like that as a poster as well when you're a kid.
Yeah.
When you're going into our price.
Yeah, fucking hell, yeah.
And that, I remember just seeing that poster. I'm thinking that looks awesome because it even like computer game front covers as well.
Yeah,
it was just like, well, how can this band not be good?
Yeah,
a bit of a mum, can I have that? Like,
well,
no,
that's Maiden's entire selling point.
Yeah,
is the fucking Eddie on the first album,
and obviously around this time, it's 2000. I was getting into music heavily, sort of buying records with my money that I was earning from a Saturday job, and it was like Maiden mania at the time. And it was like, right, I finally get to hear what this band sound like, and yeah, I remember hearing. Here's fucking a story for you, actually. I remember Phil Alexander. Remember him?
Yep. He's one of the ones who was fucking taking a piss out of Blaze when he was singing on the X Factor private listening thing.
No, was that
No, that was Phil Alexander.
Phil Alexander as well.
Mate, yeah.
He's on Marianne Hobbs' Radio 1 Rock Show, and he says, oh, yeah, Iron Maiden got a new album coming out. This was around the time Earl's Cult was thing. And he went, I've heard the new album. And I was like, oh, what's it like? He said, I was in... I can't remember if it was like Spain or LA or something like that. But he was in another country. Obviously, this is before Skype. This is before thing. And I'm interviewing Bruce Dickinson. So you used to get flown out to places to interview someone. And he's played me the album in his car. And this is the story. He goes, and there was this awkward little moment where I thought, oh, God, what if this is shit? Because their last albums ain't been up to much, have they? And I just thought, journalists.
Yeah. That's it.
You wonder why you're all fucked now.
Sums it up.
You're sitting there in Bruce Dickinson's car.
A legend of
being played the new Iron Maiden album. And you thought...
That's your first fault.
What if this is shit?
Yeah. You know?
Yeah. Fucking... There's a great saying in... what's that thing? The guy, he was Doctor Who for a little while. But he was in a... He's like a spin doctor for politicians, and he does these big rants. Peter Capaldi. What was that called? It was a bit like Yes, Prime Minister, but it was the thick of it.
Right, yeah.
And there was a thing about Peter. He went, no, don't try and please people. You'll never please people. And he went, some people will be in the Garden of Eden, and they will complain that there isn't any Wi-Fi. And I thought that just summed that up brilliantly. But I remember at that time hearing The Wicker Man, and I remember hearing... It was obviously Ian Camfield, another legend as well. Yeah, another guy.
Yeah, I always like
the reason I'm doing this, the reason I got into podcasting, writing reviews, is actually Ian Camfield. He's got a really thick Essex accent like me as well. Funnily enough, when Ian Camfield, I'm doing so many things, sorry. Ian Camfield played Kilkus on his show because he went from Friday night to Sunday afternoon. I can't remember quite which one it was.
It was a Friday night because I remember he played AOC.
Yeah, and he said, well, if you remember then, he went, can someone from the band contact the show? He went, because I think I might have gone to school with one of them. And, but yeah, I remember it moved to Sunday for a little while, and I remember thinking that's good because I don't have to stay up all night recording it. It was like and I remember listening to it live, and there was the rock show with Ian Cat, and then and I remember thinking, what's this? This sounds dramatic. And then I was just thinking, who's this? Who's this?
Yeah.
Yes, well, it will be revealed, young Denby, and your life's about to change, and you will never, ever have any money.
Yeah.
And yeah, he went, that was Iron Maiden live from Paris last week. And he went a 3-hour show, and that was the opening, the classic Aces High. And I was like, right, I finally heard them. And then I remember it was Mary Ann Hobbs when I first heard The Wicker Man, and we'll get into it finally. What a perfect, I think it's a perfect Iron Maiden song. Everything we love about Iron Maiden is just encapsulated in 4.5 minutes. I think it's the perfect album opener, the perfect song they needed to do at the time. Yes. I think I would even go out there and say this is the best Maiden album opener. I will even go against Aces High.
I'm going to say, because you just talked about fucking one of the best album openers of all time.
Well, I think this is one because again, it's everything from the perfect little intro,
when it kicks in,
and then the drums,
yeah, it all comes out in stereo.
And I love that little ring that Nico does, and that is the genius of Nico.
Wide cymbal, yes, mate. Yeah, he always does that.
Just and it just, that little thing just adds to the tension as the song builds up.
That's what Nico does, because most drummers will just keep that as a standard beat on that cymbal, but he doesn't. He does it in time with a kick drum, and he does all different shit with it, and that's what sets him apart.
Yeah, and that brilliant little hook on the drums, and the riffs on this are pretty basic actually, but it's Nico that drives it because
fucking right, mate.
And you could just, it'd be a completely different song if you didn't have Nico on it.
Yeah, and it's sorry, but you talking about Nico. I mean, this is for once. I mean, I've talked about this before on the X Factor. It was like finally being able to hear Nico because the drums were front and center. But that wasn't a well-produced album. Everything was there, but it was a mess. Because obviously, as we talked about, Steve Harris, he ain't the professional. They've got a guy in who knows what he's fucking doing. That's no disrespect to Martin Birch, but Martin Birch didn't understand drums as far as I'm concerned. They were there, and you could sometimes hear Nico, but he was very much just there somewhere in the background as part of the ensemble. Drums are supposed to be fucking there. They're the heart and soul of the song. They're the fucking root and fucking stem of the song. And they're supposed to be loud. You're supposed to be able to hear them. And for once, for the first time ever, we can hear Nico in perfect clarity. And we can hear his crazy manic kick drums in the chorus. When you're thinking, fuck me, he's got to be using 2 pedals.
Yeah.
No, he's using 1 pedal. That's the sort of drummer that man is. And for the first time in 20 years, you've been able to hear him. Or 17 years, sorry, since Peace of Mind, when you couldn't hear him at all.
Yeah.
But this album, it's so well produced, and you can finally hear Nico just smashing the shit out of it. And it makes this song, like you say, the riffs are basic, but Nico drives it and carries it forward, and it's the perfect produced album.
I think as well, just talking about drumming for a moment, and this is going to be a long old episode. From a strictly a spectator, I have nothing but admiration for drummers. I watch them like the average person watches a sportsman or an athlete. It's something I just can't do. And in another life, I would love to have been a drummer. Many a time I've gone down a rabbit hole on YouTube, and I love watching those drum cam videos.
Yeah, probably, isn't it? Yeah.
George Colliers from Nile, that is just drum porn to me.
He's a savage.
And the thing that marks a good drummer for me is when you are a teenager and you're air guitar, when you air drum, that is what Neil Peart does. That is what Dave Lombardo did. And that was the difference between, as much as Paul Bostov is a fantastic drummer, and I do think he was the best drummer for Slayer at the time. It was like Dave Lombardo was the best drummer in Slayer, but Paul was best for the band now, because when Dave Lombardo come back, well, they didn't do a Brave New World, did they?
No, they didn't.
And yeah, that, you know, I could easily drum along to, if I was going to buy an instrument now, if I bought a guitar and bought a drum kit, I would learn Angel of Death on the drums before I learned on a guitar easily.
Yeah.
Because
so iconic patterns, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, you just, and it's the same with Dead Skin Mask as well.
Yeah. That's
even
a great one. Played it, actually.
The South of Heaven.
Yeah.
You know, I just know it off by heart, and that's what Nico does. And to testament for that is we went to see Nico McBrain do a drumming session come Jim Davis and Jimmy Jones act.
Fucking hell, yeah.
And he did it. He just went, right, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Everyone was singing it, weren't they? Yeah.
Bum, 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 and he just did the drum, no music playing. He just did the drums, and the whole crowd sang the song in time. And it was like, that's what drummers should be aiming for. You should be going. And I think that's to a young drummer as well. Like, that's what you should be aiming for. Yeah. Don't take over the song. Don't let your ego thing. But will someone be able to air drum to them? Just like someone's going to be air guitaring them.
You've hit the nail on the head,
singing
mate.
into a brush, you know, that's what you should be aiming for, and that's what he does.
Hit the nail on the head, because obviously I am a drummer, and that's why I love Vinnie Paul so much, and that's why I love Nico as well, because they know when to be flash bastards, and they know when not to be flash bastards, and just let the song ride. And not every drummer understands that. Someone, like you say, there's no ego tripping. There's no ego tripping Vinny. There's no ego tripping Nico. It's all servicing the song. It's servicing the listening experience. And that's what separates a fucking great drummer from just a geezer who's got the ability to make his limbs do different things at the same time.
Yeah, the 5 minutes alone is a perfect one. And that's when you're a good drummer.
Yeah.
It's as much as you're...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. I love it. But for you able to just go bam, bam, bam,
just keep the 4/4
and make the song just... You
groove.
cannot headbang to that song. And it's just a dun, bum, dun. Yeah. And it just looks cool as fuck on the video as well, when he's got the thing where he's got that flammable liquid on the snare, and as he hits it, the flames go off. Yeah, amazing. But that's just the drums, right? So you've got
it's the song, like I mean, the song is, like you say, it's perfect, and there's actually a whoa oh oh bit at the end that isn't forced like it was on Virtual 11 at the end of When Two Worlds Collide.
Yeah.
It seemed like that was tacked on.
Oh, what that? Whoa.
Yeah, seems like that was tacked on for an extra minute to the song. But at the end of this, it feels totally natural. And when a guitar starts doing it as well, it's fucking great. And
when that comes in as well, it is just they could have got away with not using it, but when they do use it, it is just like just like a money shot. It's just right. This is the icing on the cake. And like again, it just fits into that 4 minutes wonderfully.
Yeah. I absolutely adore the X Factor, as we know when we reviewed it, and there's parts of Virtual 11 that I think are some of Maiden's finest musicality ever. But this opening 4 minutes 35 seconds reminds me of everything why I loved Maiden in the first place.
Yeah, and it is.
It's all back there. You're back fucking there. They're back. The rest of the fucking bands, they don't mean anything. Metallica, all your fucking Sabbaths and all your fucking grunge bands and all the shit, new metal, it don't mean nothing anymore. All the fucking bands like Korn who were laughing at Maiden when they reviewed Virus because of the singing and all that, all of a sudden they're fucking dick riding Maiden because they know full well the grandfathers are back.
Yeah, and I think, do you remember when we did the show with metal show with Gunny and Joe, and we did Burn My Eyes?
Yeah.
And I said the mark of a great debut album. Like I said earlier, this is like a reset button, but it's a bit different.
It's the second debut, isn't it? It's,
Yeah, and when I said the mark of a great debut, is that opening bit, all of a sudden, everything before it is irrelevant. You
Yeah.
had it with the Sex Pistols when Holidays in the Sun kicks in, because you got that soldier march, dun, 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 and then the call, and when it just explodes, it was just like, right, well, the future's just arrived. And you had that with Burn My Eyes.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 and then that was it. Yeah, bye grunge.
Yeah.
A great debut album. The opening track makes everything that comes before it irrelevant.
Yeah. Yes, that's
it. And that's a statement with the debut album, because it's a cultural shift.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Because music's changed now. These are the daddies. That's done away with, and this is the new band. That's a standard setup. Yeah, this kind of is the same thing, but from a different perspective, because
I mean, it's also that also applies to Cowboys from Hell, because although that wasn't their debut,
it was the first major label debut.
Much like this isn't Maiden's debut, it's like you say, a cultural shift, because metal was no longer the same after fucking Dimebag played that opening riff to Cowboys.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing, and I would say Cowboys from Hell it's the true debut. Yes, it's not their first, but they're not the first band whose first album
Slipknot
was the
Make Free Kill Repeat. Where's that on the shelves? It ain't there.
And let's have a look. Where are they? Further back. But Thin Lizzy, is it Nightlife or Fighting? I can't remember. The first one was Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson. When they became a four-piece, the Thin Lizzy we know and love today, it started on the fourth album.
Yeah.
Even out of going out of metal with Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode, as we know them now, started on the fifth album. Everything before that was just bubblegum pop.
Yeah.
They went dark and a bit, bit mad on that fifth album, and that when you play like the old classic at the end of a concert, they go back to their fifth album. They hardly ever play anything off the first four, so it's not with the Pantera thing, and not that it was the first album that was out on a major label. That to me is but this one, metal was just not in upheaval. That's not quite right. But it was going for a bit of a change, wasn't it? It was going for new metal. It was going for groove.
But not to take away from new metal, because new metal did sort of help metal keep its relevance, didn't it?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in that time, some music from that time has aged like wine. Other parts has aged like bread. And a lot of bands have dropped. And it was kind of just to look, this is what works.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And this was a modern classic album, not in a modernizing way, but in just a modern approach to a tried and tested recipe, for better words. The lyrics as well are just so positive. You play this song while you're out on a run, you will run that extra bit faster. When you're starting to puff out, if the whoa kicks in just in time, it'll give you that extra bit. It's Rocky. It's up there with Rocky, with the, flying high now.
Yeah.
I think this could be used during a montage when they're training. They don't use them in films anymore.
No, that's it.
It's just that unmistakable riff during the chorus. And yeah, just perfect 4.5 minutes. And we've gone through this journey on this podcast as well. We've gone through, No Prayer for the Dying, where they're sort of on autopilot. They're not really finding that much inspiration. You've got Fear of the Dark, where again they're trying different stuff, but something's not quite right. We've got the misunderstood masterpiece of the X Factor, but then we've got again the confused and rushed
Virtual 11.
This 4 minutes alone, it's like, right, we've arrived. We've come home. We've finally made it. And as I've also said in the past, I think a good album opener should be like that first little 5 minutes on a James Bond film.
Yeah.
You've got your little mini film and then the thing begins. And I think that is perfect. Whoa, that rings out.
Yeah.
That is James Bond on a motorbike. Right, like riding away from an explosion behind him.
Yeah.
He's got a Union Jack flag flying from it, the Union Jack parachute. It is that GoldenEye when he lands and he gets in the plane and all of a sudden he just goes behind the mountain and all of a sudden just comes back up. It's that triumphant.
That's it, yeah.
Bond is back. And then we have the opening credits.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun. Bum, bum, bum. What a great way to open. Right, we've arrived now. You've got your attention. And now you've got this beautiful little introduction.
You missed the track.
Oh no, it's not. Ghost of
the Navigator.
Yeah, sorry.
How dare you miss this track?
No, I thought it was Ghost of the Navigator. I don't know why. I just sung the wrong melody.
No, I mean, hello, Mr. Yannick.
Yeah.
You've been missed on your conspicuous by your absence on Virtual 11. Well, absence save for the last track of the album. And he's back with writing with Bruce and writing with. And this is about as perfect as 6 minutes, 50 seconds as you're ever likely to get.
Yeah, I mean, with the Ghost of the Navigator as well, there's a band I've been listening to lately called Ahab. And their running theme is Moby Dick. And they've now...
Well, with a name like Ahab, you would expect that.
Yeah, but all their albums are concept albums, but they're based... at sea.
Yeah.
And there's another little one as well where they're going through some voyage and they come across like these sea creatures and whatnot. But they do this. There's the latest album they did opens with this really nice mellow song. It's not how you open a metal album at all. Eventually it kicks in and it's like, all right, now we've arrived. But when it opens and it is like you just visualize being at sea on a calm day. Maybe it's a bit misty. Maybe the sun's just coming up.
Bit hazy,
but the way they just paint this picture with just some notes of the guitar is really good. And
what Maiden do, mate.
Was what they do here. When you have that
it's like you say, it's
now because I'm embarrassed because I sang the wrong melody earlier. But that's what you do. You all of a sudden you're at sea.
Yeah, you are. Exactly.
And the way this song just builds up.
And then when you hear the drums,
paints a picture, tells a story. Yeah. I think this is loosely based on the Odyssey as well. If I'm not strictly based, but I think it's slightly inspired by the Odyssey. Because you've got the Iliad when they fight the War of Troy.
Yeah.
The Odyssey is when they go home.
Yeah.
But it's basically, to me, it's about he's lost at sea, he's in a storm, and ghosts of navigators sort of guide him. And but there's sirens as well. Yeah. And there's the silence of the rocks beckons me, and it's basically like, does he die in this voyage or does he? Yeah, it's a cool story, quite epic as well. The fact that they open their live show with 3 tracks off of this, hitting the ground running, sort of says everything.
But this song, this benefits from Kevin Shirley's imperious production, because when you got that lovely fucking just strummed intro with a lovely melody over it, then you hear Nico, when it's about time, Nico starts bringing it up gradually on the floor and the snare. Then he brings the kick drum in intermittently as well. And then when it kicks in, it's like, bang, 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 and then it kicks in with a fucking, probably the heaviest Maiden I've ever sounded. But you can hear all 4 guitars, and you can hear the drums, and you can pick. It's so perfectly produced and so heavy for Maiden, but it's so clear as well. And the drums are fucking, you can hear everything Nico's doing, and it's phenomenal. And that verse chorus is phenomenal, and it's so simple, but. And then the chorus, you've got your pre-chorus and your chorus kick in. And then they go back again and rinse and repeat. But it's you get drawn into it, like the story. Like you say, it sets, you're there on that boat, aren't you?
Yeah.
And it brings you in. And then the bit where I'd imagine in the story where they hit a storm is right around the solo section. When Nico comes in with more fucking ridiculous drumming that you think has got to be double pedal. It's got to be double bass drums. But it's not. It's him playing just one pedal. But you haven't been able to hear it For 17 years, the man has been buried. One of the finest drummers that's ever lived in the universe. And only now, when he's fucking like been in the band nearly 20 years, can you actually hear what he's playing? And this is why this album is so good, is it benefits because you can hear everything. And people were going on about how fucking Free Guitars was a bit of a fucking, let's just get him in, it's a bit of a gimmick and all the rest of it. It might be to the casual listener. Put headphones on, put a decent set of headphones on and play this album. You can hear so much going on. They might all be playing the same...
like on a surround sound system or
they
something
might all
like
be playing the same riff, but they're not all playing the same riff. They might be dancing around it, they might be adding little bits here, and they're all separate in the speakers. You can hear one this side, and one centrally. And there's so much going on when you listen to a decent pair of headphones. And this song is a prime example of it, as is Blood Brothers. But it works. And the reason this album works is because of the fucking perfect production. I can't stress that more. You know, it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, one thing as well, everyone says, well, Free Guitars, what are you supposed to do with Free Guitars? I was like, well, wing that fucking album that you love so much, that's got one guitarist or two guitarists. Yeah. How many tracks are on the album?
Yeah, no, they're fucking doubled up.
How many overdubs and thingies? And
exactly.
Right, play that little bit over that bit again. That thickens that. Like, you're getting that live. You're getting the extra tracks that are on top of the main. And I'm getting it.
We've discussed it. Obviously, we mentioned Pantera. As much as I love Dimebag, I think he's the greatest guitarist to ever pick up a bit of fucking wood. But live, they missed out on certain stuff because
he limited. He
had to double track. He didn't always play a rhythm section under the solo, but when he did, you completely lost that live. And the level just drops. As good as Rex and Vinny are, they can't replicate that.
They're not.
But now you don't have to worry about it because you've got fucking two other guitarists who can play the rhythm, play another melody, and it's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Right, should we move on to Brave New World?
We should, because this is Dave Murray. Dave Murray writing a song that's 6 minutes long. What the fuck's going on there?
I am going to profess my love for Dave Murray later on. So,
but no, this is another Dave Murray banger. It should be trademarked. That I think we should trademark.
They say don't ever meet your heroes. Well, someone should say to Dave Murray, don't ever meet Joe Denby because your day will be ruined.
That's it. And this is the first time
complete stranger just come and told me, spent an hour telling me how wonderful I am and how much he loves me, and
this is the first time he's done a triple threat because he normally writes with Steve or he writes with Bruce. He's never written with with all three of them together.
Solo,
But no, this is a fucking as good as title tracks go. There ain't many better.
Yeah, I mean, funnily enough, it's based on Brave New World by Aldous Huxley.
Yeah,
it's spurred me to reread it. I'm about 100 pages in, and I highly recommended reading, everyone. That book is fucking terrifying. That's all I'll say. Reading it as a teenager, you think, oh, this would be good. I get to basically live in a shopping mall stroke leisure centre and get to have sex with someone different every day. Yeah, brilliant. Sign me up. No work, there's a lot more to it underneath the surface. And it's just like, oh God, this is, and we're on the cusp of it. Let's put it that way. The way technology's going and the way things are being set up. But that's a chat for another day. But Brave New World, a terrifying book, let's put it that way. And
made into a beautiful song.
Yeah. And with The Wicker Man, which is something we mentioned earlier, but I forgot to say earlier, the thing that struck me with The Wicker Man is that it has nothing to do with the film.
Yeah.
I honestly, loads of times I was just thinking, I can't. Yeah, fate points the finger to you. Yeah, the main character might be chosen, and yeah, it's just What
was the point of The Wicker Man in the film? I can't remember. What was it?
The Wicker Man as well is one of my. I would say it just slots into the top 10 for me. Don't want to give any spoilers away, but then again, fucking hell, it is about 100 years old if you've not watched it now.
Yeah, it's your own fault,
Yeah. I mean, it was about 30 years old when I was born, and I'm no spring chicken anymore. Led by Voices was a long time ago. Yeah, I don't know how far you want to get into it, but it's a brilliant film. It's just an absolutely brilliant film. I mean, Christopher Lee, like even later on in his career, said it was one of his favourite films. It's one of those films. Again, I won't give away any spoilers, but I think Psycho is another really good example. When you have like a climax at the end, or like a twist, or an unveiling, or a wow. You know, it all builds up, and it leads you along all the way, and then bang, you arrive at the end. I think Psycho is a good example. Maybe even Seven, or The Usual Suspects. Even not quite Sixth Sense. It's not a complete like, oh my god.
Yeah,
it's not like that. But there is a bit of a right now, you know. But when you watch it again, knowing what's coming, the film makes even more sense because you notice things all along the way.
Yeah.
And it's just the subtle little details. It's just brilliant. And you could listen to a podcast or a discussion on The Wicker Man. You could listen to about 6 in a row, and everyone will have something a bit different to say about it. It's a really, really good film. But yeah, it has nothing to do with the song at all. But the Bruce Dickinson's, I was just saying earlier, if you get the best of Bruce Dickinson, the 2 CD compilation that he put around this time, there's a demo called The Wicker Man, and that actually has a lot more to do with the film. But yeah, Brave New World is pretty. It's still a bit vague, but yeah, I could see the things for the book. The Bring This Savage Back Home. They go to like this outer colony where people they live like the old way. A lot of line is, yeah, people are actually born. And like, ugh, that's disgusting. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
Because it's all people are grown in labs and all the rest of it. And there was another line as well where, Wilderness House of Pain makes no sense of it all. They're going like, well, why would you want pain? Like, these people live with pain.
Yes,
like, we did away with that. It's mad. And there was another one. Yeah, all is lost, soul's your soul in this brave new world. And there's a lot of stuff on the book from this, unlike The Wicker Man. But yeah, great song. Real haunting melodies in it as well. And yeah, I think there's another character in there as well that sort of he starts questioning everything, and so that's when it kicks into that, you know, he's feeling emotions, and they're like, no, happiness is the only emotion that's allowed. So if you're getting a bit, I'll drink this, and then he's all right, you know. He captures the book pretty well, I think. Sure. And it's really nice and anthemic, and
it is. I wonder who wrote the chorus though.
Why? Who is this? The main three again? Who is this? This is Murray. Murray, Harrison, Dickinson.
Based on what we know from repeating lyrics, I wonder who wrote the chorus.
Oh right, I see.
It's got Harris written all over it.
Just say the title over and over again.
Yeah.
I really like that melody in the solo section as well. That do, 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 do,
oh yes, brilliant, isn't it? Yeah. Where Nico's carrying the song underneath. But no, it's again another song that benefits from a great production. And benefits from having 3 guitars. You know, all the reasons to get Kevin Shirley and get Adrian back in the first 3 tracks on the album, they're fucking there. They're there for everyone to see. And I defy anyone to go back through Maiden's back catalogue and find a better 1, 2, 3 on an album. Won't happen. I'll fucking sit here all day. And I ain't been funny. I'll include that up to track 4 as well, because Blood Brothers is on another level.
Oh yeah, I was waiting for you to finish to sort of go. Well, hold on a minute. What do you mean 1, 2, 3?
There ain't a better 4. Nowhere to be found. All right, Seventh Son might have a good to and fro with you, but other than that, forget it. Yeah. This is Maiden in top form.
Yeah, absolutely. They have a little break in the live set. They open with the 3 songs, and then they do Wrathchild and 2 Minutes to Midnight. But then they go into Blood Brothers, and
And I'm glad Blood Brothers is getting the love it deserves because it's recently been used in the encore. And
Yeah,
it's that level of song that it deserves to be in the encore.
yeah.
There's
No,
not many songs. There's not many songs from the reunion period that are. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I prefer the reunion period to the classic period, but there's not many classic songs from the reunion period. They're more consistent now, I think. But Blood Brothers is one of those songs that is just like, yeah, this deserves to be in the final three of the night. Normally, you couldn't argue against like Evil That Men Do, Clairvoyant, Hallowed, Running Free. But when they put this in, it was like, fuck yes, this deserves to be there. And this Blood Brothers is tells you all you need to know why Yannick is in the band. Because all the good guitar bits are played by Yannick.
yeah.
Steve Harris may have wrote it. It's the first Steve Harris solo composition in the album, which 4 tracks in is unheard of. That shows how much he needed a break.
Yeah.
Because Virtual 11 was pretty much all him. And I think it showed from a guy who was running on a bit on empty, to be fair.
Yeah. I think, this is a fantastic song.
Yeah.
And again, the lyrics of this song are perfectly vague. When you actually sit and look at it, you're going, what exactly is this about?
Yeah.
But there's so many lines that you can take and apply to yourself.
That's why they fucking dedicated to the fans, aren't they? Where they go, we're Blood Brothers, and all the drunk fans go, yeah.
There is that. There's the camaraderie that it brings in. There's talk of it being about the death of his dad.
Yeah, there's a line in there.
And with that, they stopped dedicating it to the fans and started dedicating it to Ronnie James Dio.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
To me, it's just a song about friendship. And in this big, scary world, and this big journey that we're going through, it's friendship and family, but you're not always friends with family members.
No, that's it, yeah.
They say friends is the family you choose.
Yeah.
It's those... in hard times especially, it's those friendships and relationships that you have that get you through it all. And I think that's what this song perfectly encapsulates.
Yeah, big time. And musically, it is on another level. And funnily enough, you don't get this song unless Steve experiments with Don't Look to the Eyes of a Stranger. Because the way the guitars and the orchestra or the orchestral arrangements interlock together. He started them on Don't Look to the Eyes of a Stranger. He perfected them on this. And that's probably why it wasn't put onto Virtual 11, because it wasn't quite ready.
Yeah.
But this is a dead fucking set song for when they eventually get their asses together and play Royal Albert Hall with the fucking London Philharmonic, mate.
Yeah.
They've got to play this.
Yeah, please make it happen. I don't know why. Why hasn't it happened?
Yeah.
If Septic Flesh can do it.
Yeah. If Alter Bridge can do it, and I love Alter Bridge, but they haven't got the rich catalogue that Maiden have.
No, and again, we've mentioned it. Dimmu Borgir have done a live album with one. There's 100 people on the stage. That's an orchestra, my friend.
Big time. And Metallica have done it twice, yet Maiden's music lends itself more to orchestral than Metallica's does.
Yeah.
Much more. So, fucking get it done, you tossers. Before Nico dies.
Yeah. And, but again, that great sort of medieval melody at the beginning.
Isn't it? Proper fucking,
and then the way it just layers, and it just, and then that when the chorus kicks in, it's just
mate.
It's just
awesome, isn't it?
Beautiful.
Awesome. And listen to this in headphones because you benefit from it so much more.
Yeah.
Hear what's going on.
Rush have been doing some reissues lately, and the bonus disc is a DVD, and this is the album in surround sound. And I wonder what would happen if Maiden did that.
Maiden did it on Dance of Death. They did a DVD audio, which I've got on the shelf over there.
That was the live video.
No, it was the album in 5.1.
Did they?
I've got it on the shelf.
Dance of Death, the album.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
When we do it, I'll show you it. But it's 5.1. It was a special audio mix for 5.1. Shame the album sounded like fucking shit. It wasn't shit.
Dance of Death is a fucking...
It wasn't shit, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. But
we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Compared to Brave New World, it sounds like peace of mind. And that ain't a compliment.
Yeah. But again, so I think in the first 4 songs we've built and built and built.
Yeah.
We've come to this wonderful climax.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, and they've learned from their mistake on the X Factor, because next probably comes in one of the fucking out of nowhere, boom, one of the heaviest, fastest songs they've ever recorded.
Yes,
and it completely cleanses that palette.
And it's short. Right,
yes.
Here we go. So we've done that. Now we're on to the second half of the album, or the next section, and we're doing a nice.
You know, it's when it kicks in. Nico's drums are, again, for the production. Nico's drums are so fucking heavy. You know, it's like fucking hell. It's in your face. Does it need to be nearly 5 minutes long? Perhaps not. That's the only thing I can criticise it for.
Yeah, but
it's a bit over long.
Yeah, but 5 minutes to I Am. Well, no, Mercenaries 4 minutes 42. It's not too bad.
Yeah, 5. You know, that it could be a minute shorter and still be an amazing song.
Yeah, but still under 5 minutes. Yes, that's a Napalm Death song to Iron Maiden.
Yes, Napalm Death epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, so, it's and again, it's Jers and Harris, the dream team. They work well together, these two.
And a great little chorus as well. Show them no fear. Show them no. You know.
Yes, brilliant. And they do a nice little bit halfway through it where everything stops except Nico. It's just the drums, and then Bruce starts singing again, and it kicks back in on a power chord into the chorus, and it works really well. And I used to skip this, funnily enough, but having listened to this since we've had such a long break since we did the last album, I've been listening to this for a long time, and I used to skip this because I always prefer Maiden's longer stuff now. But this is a fucking great song. Great
live as well. They drop it in, don't they? And again, it's just a
it was part of that Brave New World tour.
Yeah,
I think like about.
And then Dream of Mirrors, considering it's over 9 minutes, is a bit of an epic because normally with their big epics, there's a big intro that
it starts off.
This one, bam, bam, straight in. And then we get the introduction, really, which is weird.
You're still on the intro 3.5 minutes in when most songs are running out of ideas. This is one of those. This is another fucking amazing song and another.
It shouldn't work.
No, it shouldn't, but it works twice.
Yeah. So we go bam bam, bit of singing, melody, and then we're going to go into the next bit of the song, maybe a bridge, but no.
Yeah, no.
We're going into the intro.
Yeah.
And
again.
For 3 minutes, we just have this. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
And this just builds and builds and builds.
Nico does something different. Each time they go back into it, he's doing a little bit of a different pattern.
Yeah.
So eventually he brings a snare in. But this is Yannick and Steve on top form. And this is one of those songs that apparently was ready for Virtual 11, which leads me to the old conspiracy theory. They didn't want to waste it on Blaze.
Yeah.
Which ironically, when I listen to it, I think Blaze would have sung quite well. Perhaps not the high bit at the start, but he would have lowered it down a bit. And I think Blaze would have done a good job on this.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But
we'll never know, will we now? But
no, but apparently he wrote lyrics for this and didn't get credited.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you reckon he had a little bit of
he weren't happy.
Written?
Yeah, he reckons. Apparently he wrote lyrics for it because invariably that's how it works.
Isn't this a? Yeah, this is a Harris thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Yannick and Steve wrote this.
Yeah. Because with the lyrics, I only dream in black and white. Save me from myself.
Yeah.
And then, bro, it's Steve's, quite dark lyrics, and Bruce goes, "Yeah, he's a tortured little bastard, isn't he?" Something like that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, as far as you've said it earlier, as far as 9 minute, 21-second songs go, this don't get much better.
No, it's an effortless.
You run the gambit, you run the fucking heavy intro. Like you say, songs like this don't normally start like that, but it gets heavy, then it's mellow, and it kicks in. But when it kicks in, that bit, fucking great. And again, you hear Nico, the gallop on the pedals.
Yes.
Something that he does on one pedal that, I can barely do on two.
Also, I want to just mention as well, I've often said I just wish Maiden would just turn up and just give a bit of heaviness in.
Oh,
and
there you go.
3 minute, then just the build up and the build up and build up.
And when it kicks in,
it finally just goes.
The power chords,
And those guitars, then it's just like
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Why is it taking you so long? Why haven't you done it again since? It's there.
Yeah.
It's when that opens up. It's
Yeah.
just,
smashes it, doesn't it?
yeah.
But
Brilliant.
this is, again, I keep saying it and I kept saying it. I've said it before and I've said it again. Production. This is the perfect sounding Maiden album. They've never sounded as good since this. They never sounded as good before it. This album is a perfect storm of songs, of sound, of personnel. And with 6 tracks in, there ain't no skipping. There ain't no, oh, this is dragging on a bit. This is vital fucking music. Vital music. Yeah. And what I said earlier about the fucking first 4 songs, I challenge you to find a better 6 songs on a Maiden album. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
They might be dotted about, but normally you've had a bit of filler by now.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then of course, so we've got another 9-minute song. It's another palate cleanser, nice little 4 minutes.
Yes, and this is a bit different to starting off on the drums. You don't normally get a sort of a drum weird intro. And I was actually there when they played this live. They don't play this live very often.
Well, that's one thing I wanted to ask. Have they done all of this album live at some point? Because you was at the Shepherd's Bush show, weren't you? And didn't?
Yeah.
I thought they did Out of the Silent Planet and Finland's
They did.
Love and Hate.
They did Fallen Angel and Out of the Silent Planet as extras after they finished. What was it? They done the trip along. They done a Number of the Beast, Hallowed and Sanctuary as their encore. Fucked off, and they come out again literally 30 seconds later and said, "Oh, we're going to do some extra ones for you." And everyone's like, "Fucking hell!"
Yeah.
And they played Fallen Angel and Out of the Silent Planet, and they don't play them very often, mate.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but again, this is a nice little 4-minute. It's just a nice little gallopy.
Yeah.
You know, Maiden
Adrian
at their
Smith,
simplest.
Adrian Smith hooks again. You know, you can tell them straight away.
Yeah, great little chorus, great little lick underneath that chorus. Like,
yes, yeah.
You know. I can't remember the words, but yeah.
No, this is Adrian Smith written all over it, though, isn't it? It's those hooks. It's what he brings.
Yeah.
He brings that. Not commercial's the wrong word, but he brings that lighter. Do you know what I mean? He brings a bit of a lighter edge to it, and it works all day long.
Right. I think we're going to get a little bit controversial now.
Cool.
Right. So what are we? 7 songs in, and we've not skipped a beat.
Here we go.
Right. And for the last 3 songs, the best stuff is still yet to come. I think these next 3 songs are the pinnacle of the album. As good as everything's, there's not been anything bad so far. They've opened with one of their greatest ever songs.
I wouldn't go as far as you to say the pinnacle of the album, but the quality level doesn't drop. Normally, albums get front loaded. I've said it so many times on this when we've done stuff. The album
Silent Planet, no, it's still not bad. But yeah, especially now, what's coming up is, I think. Do you remember we never did an episode on it, but we did do something between the 2 of us on Messenger. Your top 10 underrated Maiden songs. Yeah. Well, I suck because I didn't include this.
You forgot the Nomad.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's another Murray. It's a Murray banger, mate.
Yes, and this is when we're going to come to the thing where I profess my undying love for Dave Murray, the unsung hero.
It's a Dave Murray 9-minute banger. Fucking hell. I mean, normally he writes the old 3.5-minute specials, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But this is and this was another one that was written and ready for Virtual 11, which makes you wonder, did they fucking not want to waste it on Blaze?
What a piece of work this song is.
Oh, it's amazing. You talk about they paint pictures. This puts you in the desert, doesn't it?
This is what To Tame the Land should have been.
Tame the Land, yes.
Yeah.
That song is a piece of shit compared to this.
Yeah. And again, it has a little Middle Eastern vibe. They don't over-egg that pudding. They just give it a nice little touch. But
it makes you think of being out in the desert, doesn't it? Everything about it puts you in that picture.
And oh my God, great little chorus. The way it builds up. You've got the backing vocals from Bruce.
Oh yeah, well atmospheric, isn't it?
Yeah. No man. It's that little odd timing.
Yep.
The way with Tamerlan. It just you're on your camel.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you know, don't you? Yeah.
And but oh my god, that little section halfway through.
The interlude.
Yeah, the interlude.
Yeah.
And it kicks back in. It's just
heavy. Kicks in heavy as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. And this would have been great on X Factor.
Yeah.
And oh god, with that, it's keyboard, but
yeah, but this works with the orchestra, mate. This is another one they'd have to play.
Oh
yeah,
fucking sublime, just absolutely wonderful.
Yes,
and
mate.
It is just like it's that moment as well when you've not heard this album in a while. I've not heard it. I've not sat and listened to it properly in ages. And when it was just like, I fucking love this band. This is why.
Yeah, this is why they are. Why they are, isn't it?
My life to week by week going through the entire catalog to just to rediscover everything. Give everything fresh set of ears, and to just unearth the little hidden gems in the catalog.
And this is one of them.
I think when I am a benevolent dictator, I will be fining Iron Maiden. I'll be putting a 90% tax on everyone in the band and Rod Smallwood until you play this song live.
Or do it live with a fucking orchestra at the very least. Because
and you only then will you go back to your normal tax rate.
Yeah.
And yes, you will have to, under the law, do it with an orchestra.
Yeah.
At gunpoint.
yeah. No, it's got to
because
happen.
Why haven't they done this live?
Yeah, I know.
Why not?
It should have been it's one of them where it's the centerpiece. They always make the center of the show around an epic, don't they?
Yeah.
And you know, it was Dream of Mirrors. Mind you, when they played the tour, they had fucking 3 of them. They had Sign of the Cross, the Dream of Mirrors, and the Klansman. They couldn't have possibly fitted anything else in. That's 27 minutes almost right there.
Yeah, but they could have
shorter sets than that.
They could have put it in.
You know, but it's like
this needs to be a centerpiece of a show, and it needs to be completely thrown in out of nowhere. This is a curveball.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, I mean, this could be like Sign of the Cross on Legacy of the Beast. Like on Legacy of the Beast, that song finally became the song that it was.
Yeah. Yeah, with Bruce with the flaming cross and all that shit.
It was like, right, this is what it was always meant to be, and it's finally come into its own. Yeah. And I think, what this song just needs to be done live. It's just absolutely brilliant. Yeah. This is
100% with you.
Yeah. Just the way that dramatic piece of music in the that is Frodo making it to the mountain and fighting with himself. Shall I do it or shall I?
Yeah.
It's that. Is he gonna?
Yeah.
You know, or it's the Tony Stark has had the shit beaten out of him all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Where's my? And then
it's
the climax. That climatic bit.
Yeah.
It all is lost. You know, defeat. You're staring defeat in the eyes. Oh, no. You forgot this one thing.
Yeah.
Bang, you know, that's what this encapsulates to me, is just that pivotal moment. And what a piece of work. And Dave Murray, it's got to be said,
he's frightening.
If there has ever been an underappreciated musician who does not get any recognition from the British establishment, call it what you will, it is Dave Murray. Now, as much as I adore and worship the ground Steve Harris walks upon, Dave Murray is just there is always that character in a book or a film where he's not the leader,
but he's always there, and he's
the leader's best mate who he can always rely on.
That's it. He's Samwise, isn't he?
He's open.
You talked about Frodo earlier. He's Samwise Gamgee.
Yeah, and he's Opie in Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Everyone, you know, he is Oh shit! He may not be the main character, but he is your favourite character. He's the one you want. What's it? Ronnie in the Shield.
Yeah.
He's the one that's loyal the whole time.
Goes through shit. I mean, just think, he actually got fucking fired from the band, didn't he, in the early days?
Did he?
Yeah. He hasn't. The only ever present member has been Steve Harris, even though Dave Murray was in the first lineup.
I didn't realise he was in the first lineup, but he was on the first.
He was in the first lineup.
And by the way, fuck the first lineup. Everyone has this infatuation with that fucking original lineup. Oh. The original lineup is the Soundhouse tapes. Yeah. Before that, bollocks. I don't care. Do not care.
Yeah.
Glad I got that off my chest. But yeah, he's been there all along. He's been through all the peaks and valleys along with Steve. He's never done a side project. He's never
exactly. Yeah, he's never done it, has he?
And when fuck's sake, what is with this? And when he writes, he's never. There's never no fucking video of him fucking a solo up.
Yeah.
He writes one song. It's just like one song per album, give or take. I know.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm getting at. There's always a Dave Murray song. It's always an underrated, really good. He's never contributed a bad one. You could easily do an Iron Maiden, Dave Murray, and that would be a great album.
Yeah. Yes.
And when the band was at their lowest, when Steve was at his lowest, we're at Temptation of Christ. This fucking microphone. When Steve he actually says those words, "Shall we call it a day?" And it was Dave Murray that went,
he said, no, bollocks.
We're not doing that. Just because he don't want to be here. We're Iron Maiden. We started this. It was Dave that made Steve see sense and go, and it was like, you nearly lost it there, didn't you, Steve? That was Dave that did that. Yeah. Dave that saved the band.
That's it.
Yeah, and then he writes epics like this.
He does, yeah.
And it's become relegated to a hidden gem,
an album track, isn't it? Yeah, it should be on live albums. With crazy stuff, but
He's never in top 10 guitarists thing. He's never gets, even in Iron Maiden. He's Adrian Smith.
Yeah, but
no, everyone slags off Yannick. Everyone sucks off Adrian.
Yeah,
no one ever says anything about Dave. Well, I now today I announced the formation of the Dave Murray Appreciation Society. Yeah. Meeting starts now.
That's it. No, he's a governor, mate. Fucking governor. Yeah. And, love him. Love him to death.
Yeah.
I'm always smiling.
Always smiling. Always,
And he plays fucking... Adrian does these great solos, but when you hear the fucking fretboard searer, when you hear the fucking solo that just off the chart, fucking 9 times out of 10, that's a Dave Murray solo.
Yeah.
I'll bring you while we're talking about it on fucking Final Frontier in When the Wild Wind Blows. There's 3 solos in that song, as there always is in every Maiden long track. They all get a solo. The solo with the fucking whammy bar, fucking dive bombs and all that, the one that stands out is Dave Murray. And when I saw him do it live at the O2, fuck me, he let that dive bomb go forever. And it was so good. I had the fucking hairs on the back of my neck was standing up because it was like, that is the fucking man right there.
Yeah.
And that is the man. Fuck Kirk Hammett. Kirk Hammett's great. He ain't a patch on Dave Murray. And I'm putting it out there now. Fight me if you want. But Dave Murray is the fucking man.
Oh, well, Kerry King has long said that Kirk Hammett's the most overrated guitarist.
Yeah. I think Kirk Hammett can play the shit out of it.
I ain't going to say fuck all about
Dave Murray,
I'll be quoting Steve Hughes when they go like, he's not even a good guitarist. No, you're not a good guitarist.
That's it, yeah. Exactly.
So let's not. But another one as well is
doesn't write as much as Dave Murray, so end of.
But another guy that's just like, he's reliable. He's never done a bad show. He's stuck with it.
Yeah.
From day dot is Ian Hill from Judas Priest.
Oh, Priest, yeah. Most of the people couldn't even tell you who the bass player is, could they?
He was in the band before fucking Rob Alford was. Never left.
Yeah.
He's just
been there all that time, all through them different.
like John Entwistle, while everyone else is fucking about, flying around, smashing up kits, and Entwistle's there like,
yeah.
and that's what Ian Hill does. He's just this awesome bass player, but because he's not Larry, he never gets any attention. But he's played on every Priest album,
and all those different fucking styles that Priest have done as well.
Yeah,
and
he's just been there. Like,
yeah, fair play to the guy.
So Ian Hill and Dave Murray, we are starting it now. We are appreciating
exactly.
Yeah, the ever reliable and the underappreciated.
Yep, big time.
So, right, Out of the Silent Planet.
Yes, this is one bit out of left field. This one
apparently based on the film Forbidden Planet, but Out of the Silent Planet comes from a C.S. Lewis book, which is from the Cosmic Trilogy, which is known as. So not only was the Narnia Chronicles, there's the because he did quite a bit actually, C.S. Lewis, didn't he? Did a lot of essay writing, but he also did a bit more sort of mature stuff. So Narnia was for the kids. I think Cosmic Trilogy was a bit more mature. I've not read it, to be honest. It sounds good, though.
I don't know fuck all about it, but no, I mean, this is, Yannick again. Yannick's all over this album, and it ain't no wonder why the album's good, because Yannick's heavily involved in it.
Well, it seems quite nicely balanced, actually. I mean, Harris is in the writing credits of all the songs.
Yeah, but he's only got one solo song.
Yeah,
normally he has at least 2 or 3.
He's
doesn't
at
he?
least involved, but what I'm saying is, when you look at the reading, normally
it is nice.
This one is quite nicely balanced, is what I'm getting at. Everyone's on board on this album. I think that's what makes this album so great. But we'll do that in the conclusion. Excuse me. So the coffee's kicked in now. If you watch this back, look at the beginning of this show, and now I can't fucking shut me up.
If you do notice, we've got one Harris solo composition, but if you look at the writers on Wikipedia or whatever in the album thingy, Steve Harris's name isn't first in any of the others.
Yeah, what's that about? I mean,
which means he's a co-writer.
Moved heaven and earth for that.
That always tells me that whoever's name is first wrote the vast majority of the song.
Yeah.
And you go down the line. That's why Bailey was always at the end, because he wrote the lyrics.
Yeah. McCartney did. Did you hear about that with McCartney? Because all of the Beatles back catalogue is Lennon McCartney. And he was like, well, actually, there are a couple of songs that I wrote, mainly. And with iTunes now, when you have the credits, it's all Lennon, But he actually got it changed, like to certain songs.
Yeah.
He made, like a song like Yesterday, or he's, a lot of people said it was petty, but
no, fuck that. If you wrote the song, I mean, I can see why Blaze has got the arse with Dream of Mirrors. It's a fucking great song, and he didn't get a credit for writing some of the lyrics.
Yeah.
What the fuck's all that about?
Yeah.
But no, this is back to the track. Obviously, this is
no, the order of the song does matter. You don't think it does, but it
does. Of course, it does. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, because
this is a great song. I mean, it's different the way it starts. It almost sounds quite off time and out of time, but it's not. It's perfect order, and it's quite a catchy. And there's a weird dual effect on the vocals, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's an odd song, but in the best possible way, because
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
it's kind of like a load of intros.
Yeah, it's all like cobbled together, but it does work though.
Yeah, it just kind of rolls along, and then boom, you're done. And if you try and look at it and analyze it and decipher the song, it's one of those songs that shouldn't work.
Yeah. But it works.
But it's an effortless listen, and it's over before you know it.
Yeah, and it's over 6 minutes, so you should feel some sort of drag, but you don't.
Like a roller coaster of a song, it goes up and down, and and next thing you know, boom, you're at the end, and you go, "No, that was it." And I mean the repetitive chorus Out of the Silent Planet. I mean, don't you know?
Like that.
Yeah, don't you think I'm a this song's called Out of the Silent Planet. Yeah, what's the word? Out of the Silent Planet.
Yeah.
Out of the Silent
Planet. But,
it's like Red the Wolf Hound.
This works again because of the production, because Nico yet again plays his famed galloping drum beat that you never fucking hear because you can't hear him, but on this album you can hear him all day, and in that chorus, like you can hear him, and it makes the song, because it's right a galloping fucking upbeat chorus. And there's actually a fucking breakdown at the end something you'd only sort of associate with metalcore bands, where they half time the chorus, you know, coming like that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
you know, it's Maiden fucking, you know, being a bit contemporary.
It's kind of like they've got a couple of riffs and a couple of sections that they haven't quite known what to do with, and they've gone, well, hold on a minute, put them together, and it's just an odd song, but I bet it works really well live as well.
Yeah, it was good live actually, but you know, but like you say, it shouldn't work, but it does. Yeah, and it's catchy with it as well. You know, it's an
odd choice for a single, but I think it is a good. I should have got my singles out.
Yeah.
But yeah, really cool cover as well with Eddie it's a bit of an odd
at the podium, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think they took a chance actually releasing it as a single.
Yeah, like you say, it's a weird one. You'd have thought Fallen Angel or The Mercenary would have been a bit of a
but no, cool. Good luck to you for doing it. I think it probably was like everyone's going to listen to Blood Bowl and thing, but actually people might skip this because it's near the end.
Yeah,
we'll put it to the forefront, you know. But yeah, another underrated song. And,
big time. It's, you know, it's one of them. When you hear it, you're not necessarily drawn to it, but when you do get there, you're like, oh fucking hell! You find yourself singing along with it, bobbing your head and tapping the steering wheel or whatever. And
it's a bit of an earworm as well. You do.
Yes, big time.
In fact, this is actually annoying me now because it's stuck in my head. But it's not.
Yeah.
I think as well, it's got a lot of. It's a song I haven't heard a million times.
Yes,
so
exactly. There's a freshness to it,
freshness to it. And then
that leads us on to another Murray banger. What can you say, mate? You know,
I copy what I said about the Nomad
and just apply it to this.
Paste.
Yeah. And as far as album closers go, well, I'll fight you to find a better one.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a couple of there, you know, Empire of the Clouds and stuff, but this is a tune, mate.
This is a song as well that I just love the lyrics to.
They're well good, aren't they? You know, they're fucking excellent.
This is a
talking about, you know, the thin line between love and hate.
The best, perfectly vague.
Yeah,
perfectly vague. But if you're ever down,
yes, they make they'll perk you up, don't they? Yeah.
This is the song. And again, with the Wicker Man, that is like a launch song.
Yeah.
And
this is the perfect bookend to this journey.
This is the song that you listen to when you're struggling, when you're like, I've got 2 more to do, and I can't. Yeah, you can, because that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger says. The last 2 reps are the ones that count.
Yes,
You know, you've worked your way up. That's the last. No, that's the one you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
That's the one everyone. The last one. Oh fuck it, I'm all right. I'm done now. No, that's the one that counts. You've worked your way to this bit. This is the last, and it's that last lap. It's that last bit where the tank's empty, but it's like, no, that's when you need to be at your fastest. And this is what this song kind of reminds me of. It's finding that inspiration when there's just you think you're out of options. And it's a song. I think it's basically about karma. When you look into it, really, it's about, look, you've got the good and bad within you. It's down to you to choose.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But either way, you're living with this, so you can take the credit, you can take the blame.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. It's a
that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah.
It's a prep talk, you know. And there's a great little line in "New World Man" by Rush. He's noble enough to know what's right, but weak enough not to choose it.
Yeah,
he's wise enough to win the world, but foolish enough. Yeah, he's noble enough to know what's right, but weak enough not to choose it. He's thingy enough to win the world, but foolish enough to lose it. What great!
Yeah, that is a good lyric.
Yeah, great little Neil Peart. He was just as good a lyricist as he was a drummer.
Yeah, he was a drummer, yeah.
And he just does these nice little philosophical lyrics, you know, where it's just observing, and this reminds me a lot of that. And but as much as these lyrics sort of are thought-provoking and emotion-stirring, the music matches them perfectly.
Yeah,
it opens with a nice doomy dun 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 dun.
Oh yes, it's quite heavy, isn't it? You know, it's
you know, that riff.
And the solo section, what I was talking about earlier, with putting the headphones on and hearing it all. There's about fucking 5 different guitar riffs going on under that solo section. You have a bit where it builds up. You've got the first riff, then another one kicks in, and then another one kicks in over here. Then the solo kicks in about here, but then something else is going on underneath as well, and it's total fucking. It's like there's so much going on.
Yeah,
it's unreal, absolutely unreal.
I mean, yeah, we're tripping over each other just talking about Bruce Dickinson's vocals. I think is one of the best he's ever done.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And there's that during the let's get the lyrics out. He has a sort of effect on his vocals as well, you know.
It's a weird effect on it.
But yeah, when he just fucking goes for that, I will hold.
Yeah, my soul will fly, so I can live forever. Yeah, that's a proper. Yeah.
You know, but the riff underneath that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Or the drumming as well, because it's fucking manic from Nico again. I mean, Nico's fucking smashed this album to pieces.
Forgive me, metal gods, but you're gonna fucking smile. That riff reminds me of Bryan Adams. But the way, you know, he has those little licks at the beginning of his songs, you know, I suppose Summer of '69 is a perfect example. But that's what it sounds. Just that. And the song doesn't need it, but that gives it
a bit, doesn't it? Yeah.
Underneath that soaring chorus, it's like he's ran and jumped off a ledge and just gone really high, and all of a sudden that guitar has just pushed him and lifted him even higher.
Yeah.
And it just has this epic. I know that word gets thrown around so much now. I had a sausage roll today, and it was epic. No, it wasn't. It wasn't epic at all. It's a fucking sausage roll. But
no, you can apply it to most of this album, mate.
Yeah, and then when it breaks into starts off quite, but comes back in.
Yeah.
And then the solo zone.
Oh, mate, they're proper, aren't they? I tell you.
Yeah. And then that beautiful quiet section at the end.
Yeah. When he sings out and you got the solo comes in, or the lead bit comes in.
Little solo, that just goes, I'm going to match that.
Yeah.
And sings over it, just to prove he can.
Yeah, it was the end. The band were like, you know what, we can do anything at the minute.
Yeah.
And it's proven, because everyone said Maiden were dead, but they took this album, and this album, they were there during the classic era, right? They dropped down to here with X Factor and Virtual Eleven, not because of quality of songs, but just because of public perception of them. But with the release of this album and the subsequent stuff they've done, they've gone so far fucking beyond anyone.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Any of their contemporaries that did something to match this, be it Metallica or whoever. Yeah.
You know, and the fact that they're all fucking in their 60s, and they put on Legacy of the Beast, they showed it's just crying out for a Blu-ray release.
Yeah,
because the production values
and why they don't do things on DVD anymore. People don't buy
Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. It needs to be seen.
Yeah.
Because the production values were fucking off the chart. Bruce would be changing the costume every fucking song and all the fucking thingies and all that. But if it weren't for this album, none of that shit happens.
Mm.
And if it weren't, to be fair, it's a gutsy move by Steve to identify that Blaze wasn't working out for whatever reason. Whether he couldn't do it, it was too big a job for him or whatever.
Yeah.
But it took a gutsy decision for him to say, you know what? We've got to get rid of him. We've got to fucking get Bruce back. And they buried the hatchet, put the differences aside and went, right, what do we need to do to get this band bigger than it's ever fucking been?
Yeah, well,
and this is the perfect step.
Apparently, when they met, it was Bruce says it was awkward to begin with. He went, but it was, hey, doing all right. I think we shook hands and hugged. It went all of a sudden, then it went away.
That was right, yeah.
And they had a good catch up and went, no, and they went, right, let's talk business. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
And he went, I don't want you to come along and go, right, 18 months, I've had my little page, and then that's it, and fuck off again.
Yeah.
And he said, no, well, I don't want to just make a comeback album, a subset. I want. He was hot off the foot with Chemical Wedding as well, by the way.
Yeah. Because he was.
I want to put out the best fucking album ever, and I want Iron Maiden to be back on top again. And they went, right. So he went, are you in it for the long haul? He went, yes. And then he went, I want to talk to you about why I left. And Steve went, well, that don't matter now, does it?
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Yeah.
No, he went, no, but it does matter.
Yeah.
And you need to hear it so it don't happen again. And that's when they compromised. Yeah. And I think Steve finally learnt to compromise.
Yeah, Steve had a hard time, didn't he, before that?
As much as, I don't think anyone can accuse us of, putting down Blaze.
Oh, fucking hell, no. I gave X Factor 10 out of 10 for fuck's sake.
But
this album just 11, shows I had a peace of mind.
Bruce, Iron Maiden needs Bruce, and Bruce needs Iron Maiden.
Exactly. And it's just like a symbiotic relationship. One without the other don't quite work.
It just blew the cobwebs out. It was like he needs to be there.
Yeah, big time. And let's not take away Adrian needs to be there as well.
Yeah.
Because I can't overlook Adrian's part in this, because he's given the other two a kick up the arse. Because Dave and Yannick would have been a bit not resting on their laurels, but they're like, right, with this, but someone else comes in. It's like, fuck, we need to be on the ball here. We need to fucking match this intensity he's bringing, whatever he's bringing. We need to work together. So the whole fucking concept of 6 members, and it lit a fire under Nico, because Nico's drumming on this album is the best of the fucking career so far. Yeah. And it's awesome, and it's worked. And I mean, the album from track 1 to track 10, I mean, fucking hell. As Spinal Tap would say, this goes to 11. And that's what I'm giving it. 11 out of 10. Yeah. And I'll fight anyone who says about fucking Peace of Mind or Killers or whatever being better than this, because it ain't true. It ain't true. And the only thing that comes close to this is Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. That's the only album that can possibly take it on head on. Yeah. But it ultimately will lose, because they've never been... That was at the tail end of their career. That was their last great hurrah of that classic era.
Oh, yeah. Running Order. This is definitely their best since Seventh Son.
And after that, I love No Prayer, I love Fear of Dark, but there's something about them that don't quite match that. But this is a band who've had a fire lit under their fucking arses.
They're inspired. This is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
No Prayer of Dying, there was something weren't right. They weren't inspired.
Yeah.
And this, they were. They were inspired. They were hungry. They had a point to prove. And not only that, it seems like they were enjoying themselves. They were firing from all cylinders.
Yeah, it was fun again.
And with a decent producer.
Yeah.
Fixing, taking the thing off of.
Yeah, let's not underestimate that as well.
You play, right? Just fucking play. I'll handle this.
I'll do this. Yeah.
And as again, maybe the weight, the extra members, it took the weight off of other people as well.
Yeah.
And everyone is on fine form. The songs are perfect. This is 10 perfect. The running order of the album is perfect. Yeah. This is the perfect Iron Maiden album, and it's the album that needed to be made at the time, and it reset the band. I mean, we're still riding
the wave
from the wave this album calls today.
Yeah,
and not only did it set a wave in Iron Maiden, it set a wave in metal.
And this brings me nicely. I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to fucking read some of the things on Wikipedia, right? Talking about the critical reception, and reviews for the album were generally positive. Critics were warm to the return of Bruce and Adrian, blah, blah, blah.
It got 5 Ks in Kerrang.
Kerrang gave it 5 and said it's truly towering, majestic, bombastic, titanic, so gloriously in your face you can almost feel its hot breath up your nostrils. Well, this is the same band that were laughing at them 3 years before, the same magazine that were laughing at them 3 years before, so they can go fuck themselves.
The point where Steve Harris went to the office.
Knock on the fucking door,
He knocked the bloke out,
Classic Rock stated it may not take too many strides forward. All Music, whoever the fuck they are, said it's no number of the beast.
Oh, go fuck yourself. Who said that?
I don't know. All Music, whoever the fuck they are, right? Yeah. NME, this makes you laugh. It tells you they were back making big waves, because NME were fucking...
the fucking guardian of the music
Maiden's
world.
dismissal of the outside world, which kept them safe all these years, now leaves them looking rather obsolete.
I hate that magazine. I've hated that magazine since I was...
and it also says that Iron Maiden compared to the likes of Korn and Slipknot, are no longer the high priests of the black arts and seem almost innocent by comparison.
I kind of get what I mean by that, but yeah.
I'll save the best for last when we've talked about how we're still 21 years later, we're still riding a wave, and metal is still riding a wave. Blabbermouth said the band sound tired and uninspired, and that Brave New World will fail to leave a lasting mark on the face of the current metal scene. What a bunch of cunts! My God, could they be more wrong?
Now, you and me are at loggerheads on when it comes to films, and we've got this toxic fandom and toxic fan. Yeah. No, this is why the internet became what it was. Yeah. Because these fucking gatekeepers don't know shit from Shinola, and they're always trying to be hung up on nuance.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to find a new thing. Or I want to have an original take, and to sit there and dismiss a band like that.
Yeah.
Is the arrogance is astronomical.
Yeah.
I've always said, and I've been doing this for about 6 or 7 years now. But be it podcasting, the YouTube is pretty new. Writing for magazines and websites, I have never taken pleasure from writing a bad review. I'd rather just not.
No, you can't. You don't want to, do you? You fuck. You know, it's.
And to sit there and think you're clever by doing it as well, it's just. And fuck NME. I've never liked that fucking magazine.
No,
they build bands up. This is the new band. This is the future. This is fucking brilliant. They put this like a band that would have like a single out, and they would just put this unwarranted pressure on them. It's like, oh right, the future of rock and roll now rests on our shoulders, does it? Thanks for that. And then 2 years later, it would be these are shit. These are has-beens. These are thing. And I remember buying an issue of it once for whatever reason. There might have been something I wanted to read in there. And I remember I went to two gigs and it weren't metal gigs either. And both were great shows for different reasons, and they just slated them. And they didn't even talk about the gig. That was what really fucked me off.
Yeah,
it was just this smarmy, like write off of a band, and it's like you haven't even mentioned the gig.
Yeah, and you're reading your live show.
Yeah, and
it's poor journalism.
How about crowd reaction? Were the crowd enjoying themselves?
Yeah,
that's
what you should be basing your review on. If you want to get funny, base it on how the crowd react.
Yeah, and even when you said earlier, you're in a car with Bruce Dickinson. You're in Bruce Dickinson's car.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hope this ain't shit.
Yeah.
What
a cock.
Yeah, and this is why the podcasters, the YouTubers, they're the people that are the fans.
Yeah, the fans are reviewing. They know exactly what they're talking about.
Who couldn't get into your clicky, shitty establishment?
Yeah.
If they banged on the door for a year.
Yes, it. Because they haven't got the right look or the right degree or whatever.
Well, you're just not someone's mate. That's what it is as well. And and that's why I do what I do. And it's not the case with Metal Legion magazine. That magazine's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, but they're
honoured to be a part of them. Yeah,
they're not independent, but they're not related to that shit, are they? You know, they're a different breed. Kind of like, I don't know if Terrorizer still is the same. That used to be the difference. But you had Kerrang and Metal Hammer who were a bit high and mighty. Then you had Terrorizer who used to tell like
Terrorizer was the one where it was, and Zero Tolerance as well. That's a fantastic magazine actually. I think Terrorizer's gone under now. They were struggling. They I was always he was in trouble when it moved to being on internet download only. He was on God.
So I was always gutted. We got offered the chance to be on their cover CD.
Yeah.
When Set in Silence were getting quite noticed. We just had that thing in Rock Sound, and we got asked to go on.
Actually, that was pretty.
Yeah, we got asked if we wanted to.
Do you like rock? Do you like metal? Yeah. Do you like thingy? Bit fucking ambient, a bit weird. It was all in nice little sections.
Yeah, that's it.
But and they pretty much gave good coverage to it. But we're going off on one there. But yeah.
Yeah, we got asked if we wanted to do the cover CD, and we had a choice between paying to do that or paying to do a tour of Ireland. And we chose Ireland when we should have had the cover CD, because it would have reached a lot of more people, and it was from a respected magazine as well. But them's the breaks, mate, you know.
Here we go, yeah.
But yeah, you know, it is what it is. But Brave New World, 11 out of 10. Fucking can't rate it higher.
Yeah. a perfect album with some of the best songs ever written by the band, and then it just has this. It just goes even better at the end with these two of the most underrated songs in the band's catalogue. So yeah, I think we didn't do 2.5 hours though, did we? Yeah, Brave New World, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed this one.
Yep.
Check out Maidencast next week, where we'll be catching up with Blaze.
Yeah, doing the opposite side of the coin, which would be interesting.
It is the opposite side of the coin. I think sums it up quite well actually, because it's two. I think. And
why Blaze got stitched up with his record label putting this album out on the same day as Brave New World? Fucking hell, what's up with that?
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I do think I think when Black Sabbath split, you had Black Sabbath release Heaven and Hell, and then Ozzy Blizzard of Oz. It was like, that needed to happen. Yeah, because both have benefited.
This didn't need to happen.
Sabbath became better without Ozzy. Ozzy became better without Sabbath, and wouldn't quite put it that way.
No, but I see where
the band find their feet again, and Blaze
has a new experience to help him grow.
He comes into his own, and I think we're going to dive into a very underrated album. So, thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll see you next Friday.